Hello, thank you for joining our Cafe Latino webinar on the benefits of diversity and inclusion. Now, today we'll take a look at how we can create a more inclusive community. Please feel free to have pen and paper at the ready to follow along with activities and write down anything that might stick out to you. But before we begin, let's take a look at our goals for the following session. For one, by the end of this presentation, we'll have a better understanding of what diversity and inclusion are. We will also realize why they matter and the benefits of utilizing these practices. And finally, we will learn how to implement these philosophies. So, I'd like to begin with the question, what does diversity mean to you? Take a moment to pause the video and write down your thoughts. Well, according to Merriam-Webster, the definition of diversity is the inclusion of different types of people, such as people of different races or colors, in a group or organization. Many people think that diversity and inclusion are the same and interchangeable, when this is far from the truth. Diversity, as I just mentioned, is the representation of different types of people, while on the other hand, inclusion is embracing those differences. Let's break it down a little more. Think of diversity as the ingredients for a cake, separately laid out on your kitchen counter. Each unique ingredient has its own flavor to offer, but when combined, you have inclusion, something new and wonderful. The ingredients are now cohesively working together and utilizing their differences to create a much better end product. Here at Cafe Latino, we look to move forward with diversity and inclusion by advancing the mission of Florida's land-grant universities by ensuring equity, inclusion, and full participation of Latino Hispanic youth, families, and communities in the benefits and leadership of cooperative extension. For diversity and inclusion to grow, they need a safe environment. One way to create this environment is avoiding judgment. In doing this, you will help others feel welcomed in not only their presence, but their opinions and ideas. A safe environment also requires trust. This shows people that they can be involved and that when they do so, they will be respected. And of course, we want to promote a dialogue, thus ensuring that all voices are heard. Diversity and inclusion have many aspects and components that work together, but two valued parts are awareness and action. Of course, before any action for change can take place, the realization that that change is necessary must happen. Once this happens, action steps in, which is essentially everyday steps and decisions that are made for the benefit of ourselves and those around us, which these inevitably lead to diversity and inclusion. So now let's look at awareness. We're currently moving towards a new age and a society that is becoming more and more diverse. For instance, if we take a look at the rising growth in foreign culture in the United States from the years 1990 to 2017, we see a steady increase. In 2000, the percentage of foreign migrants jumped from 12.89% growth to 16.7% growth. And by 2017, that number had risen to 20.9%, basically doubling from the amount in 1990. And from the 2017 statistics, 57.1% of the growth in foreign culture was Latino Hispanic. That comes to a whopping 2,502,735 new Latino Hispanic residents, and this number is only growing, thus further demonstrating why, more than ever, diversity and inclusion should be implemented. The benefits and importance of these practices are something all of us can appreciate. Of course, implementing the philosophies will increase your social development, As you expand and diversify your circles, you'll better understand how to interact with people of varying walks of life. And through this process, you will also enhance your self-awareness. More and more, you'll become better in tune with your actions and the way they affect the people around you. And as we just learned, the face of society is now ever-changing, and in order to effectively reach our communities and not fall behind in the times, we need to make the necessary adjustments. We also know that this is a benefit to the community, and the more we learn about other cultures and create bridges, the more accessible extension will be. Another important benefit of adopting diversity and inclusion is that they will increase your knowledge base, opening your mindset to different backgrounds and ideas. And of course, you'll have an enrichment of multiple perspectives. We all have different narratives and experiences that cause us to view the world the way that we do. It's important to step in other people's shoes and get a taste of a different viewpoint. So what are some of the ways that we can properly embrace diversity and inclusion? Showing compassion is a great start. Despite our differences, it's important to keep in mind that at the end of the day, we're all human and we should support one another. And again, considering a person's narrative is very important. Where are they from? What are their beliefs or aspirations? Essentially, why are they the way that they are? Empathy adds on to this idea of narrative. You want to not only know their story, but empathize with them and truly understand it. Furthermore, we want to befriend all people. We should not discriminate against anyone and keep in mind that all of us deserve kindness and respect. Another way to embrace diversity and inclusion is to stay self-aware, and whenever a negative thought comes to mind about someone, you should address it. Ask yourself, where did this thought come from? And then aim to solve the root of that thought. And we want to practice actively accepting others, regardless of their background and who they are. So now that we've taken a look at awareness, let's learn more about action, the steps that we can make in order to better embrace diversity and inclusion. Adopting the use of cultural guides is a great addition to your program. Cultural guides are essentially members of the community or even fellow co-workers who are from a specific cultural group and help guide you in ways to become more culturally sensitive and inviting. It's also very important to establish a rapport with Latino Hispanic community members. Oftentimes, members of this community may have a negative conception of government, either from their corrupt government in their home country or the correlation with ICE and the United States government. This can cause trepidation when it comes to engaging with extension agents because of the affiliation with the government. It's crucial for us to alleviate this mentality. Plugging into local communities is key in this process. One example of this is getting involved in faith-based communities. This way, our message can be delivered by someone established and trustworthy. It's also important to keep in mind cultural relevancy. What is a person's cultural background, and how can you reach them on a more relatable level? The use of translations are also a powerful tool. Hosting dual language workshops and providing interpreted take-home materials will help create more opportunities for Spanish speakers. Our Cafe Latino website is a great resource to utilize, and if you have any materials that you would like translated into Spanish, you can simply go to our site, scroll down to under our vision, and click Submit a Request, which will take you directly to our online form. When creating workshops and events, it's important to do our research on the various Latino Hispanic communities in the area. And of course, we need to encourage participation within those communities. All right, let's take a moment to imagine. Aside from what we've learned, what are some of the ways that you can make your programs more accessible to the Latino Hispanic community? Please pause the video and write down your thoughts. Now, let's meet Lisa Rivera and Jose Valdez and take a look at their unique narratives. This is Ms. Rivera. She is a college student and a bilingual daughter of 6 whose migrant parents do not speak English. Take a moment to pause the video and write down some ways that you could reach out to Lisa through one of your extension programs. There are many ways you can go about this, but for Lisa's experience, she was reached out through faith-based community outreach. Lisa's county extension agent contacted her pastor and requested to use a room on the church facility for a nutrition workshop. The pastor agreed and promoted the event weeks before the workshop. The extension agent even provided dual language take-home materials, which Lisa took home to her parents after attending. Within the next few months, nearly all the members in her home had attended an IFAS event. Now let's meet Mr. Valdez. Jose is a grocery worker who recently migrated here from Mexico. He found a job at his local grocery store working truck, and his English is very minimal. Now take a moment again to pause the video and write down some ways that you could reach Mr. Valdez. Again, there are many ways to go about this, but in Jose's story, he attended a local community event where IFAS was present. He learned of a dual language workshop that piqued his interest and decided to go. So let's review our goals for this session. For one, we understand that diversity is about different walks of life, and inclusion is celebrating and blending those differences together. We also learn that diversity and inclusion are important for many reasons, such as the changing face of our communities and the need to reach out to them properly. These practices are a benefit to us, from enhancing our social development and awareness to increasing our general knowledge base. And finally, we learn how to implement these philosophies by means of building trust, using cultural guides, doing your research on communities, and more. Please check out and follow our online presence. This is a great way to stay connected and create a dialogue and be up to date on all things Cafe Latino. And our chairman of Cafe Latino is Dr. John Diaz. Listed is his contact information. Feel free to add another phone number to your contact list and reach out to him whenever need be. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let us know. We would love to hear some feedback and, again, just create that dialogue. I just want to say thank you very much for taking some time out of your day to learn with us. Thank you so much, guys, and have a great day.